So today I am going to talk about common mistakes new black magicians usually make, and I will talk about some really dangerous and some less dangerous mistake. So the first mistake new black magicians make is lack of discipline. If you want to succeed in magical practice, you need to be disciplined. You need to practice daily, and you also need to perform correct procedures, recite correct chants, call correct spirits in correct way in order to succeed. And for all of those things, you need discipline. So, lack of discipline is the first and the most common misconception and mistake people make. Another really common mistake people make is not being goal oriented. What it means? When people call spirit in the rite or perform the rite, they are not completely certain what they want, how they want it, when they want it, and they also aren't certain what procedure they should use. They didn't study the subject, they didn't prepare inadequately and become ready for such a spiritual endeavor. And a lot of people just call spirit up, tap into energy, and then become overwhelmed by it and manifest nothing with it, because they didn't prepare accordingly, they didn't know what they were doing, they weren't oriented towards goals, and they really and simply failed in magical operation because they became overwhelmed with what they called. They didn't have goal in mind, and at the best, you will have pleasant experience without any results. And at the worst, if you make this mistake, if you call a spirit without knowing what you are doing, and if you don't know why you call the spirit, if you call spirit for spirit's sake, at worst case scenario, you will have extremely unpleasant experience, which will probably kick you out of magic altogether. So you need to be oriented towards goals if you want to succeed in magic. If you are not goal oriented, and if you don't know what you are doing, why you are doing it, and how you are doing it, you will make pretty uneventful or unpleasant experience for yourself. The third mistake, which is extremely common by the way, is mixing between magic and mysticism. Okay, there is magic, which is calling spiritual forces to manifest changes in the physical world and within the self. And there is mysticism. Mysticism deals with transformation of the soul, manifesting better afterlife and other mystical things, right? So, lot of people, there is some goofy community in black magic these days, which claim that you need to be mystical with demons. You need to call them only for mystical purposes, because mysticism is true magic. Everything else is false. If you call demons for material reasons, you will burn forever. This is bullshit. You can call spirits for the purpose of spiritual alchemy, which is mysticism. And you can call demons to create change within one's character and manifest external results. Those are two separate things and should be kept separate, but you can call spirits for both and manifest results in both of those areas. But you need to keep in mind that those things are separate and they are not one and the same, and they shouldn't be mixed. Now, another really common mistake new black magicians make is they do not work on themselves enough. Okay? You need to work on your mental health. You need to work on your physical health. You need to eat proper food, practice proper exercise, and take care of your mind. You should indeed use spiritual tools to improve those things. But you should also do everything you can to indeed work yourself on those three areas. What happens if you perform sorcery of all kinds for alchemy or for physical training and then you don't work on yourself? Usually, if you work with darker energies and you are not careful and you do not take care of yourself, to a lot of people, those dark energies tip them off balance. And what happens to them is they become partially, how can I phrase this? They become separated from the reality in a sense. They become autistic. And what happens as a result of that is that person loses not only touch with the physical world, but also touch with the spiritual world. And they go pretty heavily into insanity. They start throwing out outrageous claims. They start behaving without any resemblance of sense. They start harming themselves and others, thinking it's actually something really cool. They start disrespecting the spirits who actually help them. So this is really common occurrence. If you do any kind of spiritual work, you need to also take care of your mind, body, and mental health. Because if you don't do so, if you don't work on your emotions, your mind, and your physical health, things will turn to shit pretty easily. And next, really common mistake beginners make is they do not have a synergy between mind, body, and spirit. Let me give you really quick example. You cannot cast a money spell and then just sit, do nothing, and accept and expect for money to come from the sky in a tornado. That won't happen. When you do spiritual work, you need to also do physical actions which help you to manifest what you want. So, in most cases, this synergy is necessary. But you also don't need, and you shouldn't, be constantly thinking about your spell, because then you will sabotage it. So you need to find the balance between those two. And another really common mistake beginners make is they allow energies they called in to dictate absolutely everything and to overwhelm them. And they start fanatically worshipping spirits they called in. Let me examine extreme example. You have bunch of lodges who give human sacrifices to certain spirits from certain traditions. This is the most extreme case. So they become so obsessed with the energy they work with that they indeed become slaves to the force they communicate with. They lose feeling of individuality, they lose feeling of self-importance, and their only purpose is to quote-unquote serve spirit so-and-so, to the point they are willing to rip somebody's heart just for the amusement and energy fix of the spirit they are working for. You should indeed give things to spirits in return. But spirits should also give you equally amount of energy in return. Do not allow spirit to overwhelm you. Do not allow spirit to literally force you to lose your self sense of individuality. Because if you allow so, you will be in a big problem. There is also another really common mistake. People call spirits up, right? And they become too emotionally dependent on the spirits. Like, if I don't call spirits for 48 hours, I cry, I become depressed, I become sad. You see, if you come to that point, you need to abandon spirit work for a time for anything else outside of emotional healing. If you have this deep need to call spirits or you are depressed, it means you are out of strong point. It means you are unstable. You need to work on your emotions immediately if that's the case. And as far as I know, this is a really common occurrence, and I had this problem in the past, and a lot of other people had this problem too. So, what is the most common mistake? And it's not less dangerous mistake by being most common, okay? This mistake is really common and really dangerous for magical working. This mistake I am talking about is rambling about your achievements, okay? People share on Facebook every single candle they light, every single spell they cast, every single curse they cast. They boast how they are the best magicians ever, man. Nobody is better than them, man. They practice magic for 5 days, and they already discovered forbidden secrets of Hermes Trismegistus, Lucifer and Lilith. Hecate is to them. They are gods, the greatest gods of all, man. And they boasted about their achievement endlessly. And there are 3 really big problems with this. The first problem is the fact that you literally spoil every serious magical working with this behavior. The second thing is that you offend the spirits with this behavior, which can have really serious consequences. The third problem with this is that you provoke insecure magicians who will bloodily curse you and fuck you up just to see your boasting now. So, by boasting about your achievements, you are putting yourself in complete fuckery because you are ruining your medical practice. You are exposing yourself to death danger and offending the spirits in the spirit world. So, by doing so, you are doing 3 really dangerous things. And also there is 4th possibility here, which is the fact that you can really go insane by doing so, because you can start to believe in your own bullshit. And when you start believing in your own bullshit really seriously, there is no salvation for you. There is no help for you. There is nothing which can be done. You are fucked up. And the last, most dangerous mistake beginner and sorcerer can make is oath breaking. Do not break your pacts. Do not break your oaths. Do not break your promises to the spirit world. You can be fucked up in much more worse ways than dying. And I want you to remind you once again, do not go into your rituals unprepared. Study things and do them properly. If you cannot find correct information, you can check out my channel. You will find some useful things there. But if my channel isn't enough, learn to trial and error but be really careful. And also, work on your emotional healing, health, and mental state. And also clean your energy bodies. Because if you don't do so, you will be in big trouble. So, here I gave some common pitfalls you should avoid. And this is enough for today.